I got a message this week telling me that truly intelligent people do not believe in the existence of God. He argued that science has explained everything that was once considered mysterious, and therefore there's no need for a belief in God that remains. Well, the word lunacy comes from the word lunar. That's because people used to think that the position of the moon caused madness and mental illness, but now just because we know the science behind craziness doesn't mean we stop believing in the moon. It's still there. Now, personally, I contend that educated and truly scientific thinking further leads us to believing in God's existence. Science may explain how things work, but it doesn't prove that there isn't a who behind the how. Make sense? See, if I could fully explain how an Apple computer works would not mean that Steve Jobs never existed, and it proves that Steve Jobs was a really smart dude. Now, the fact that science shows us that the universe in which we live had a beginning, it's knowable, it's regulated, and is finely tuned for life, points, at least for me, to a God that made it that way. If there's no God, then our minds are nothing more than chemicals and atoms bouncing off of each other between our ears. And if we're simply the product of unguided, random, and natural selection, then what makes us think we can even now produce science that is reliable or even remotely accurate? If we're simply the result of millions of years of evolutionary process, then we would only be concerned with the survival basics of feeding and fleeing and fighting and reproducing. But trustworthy science, it wouldn't even be possible. So if atheism is true, you have no reason, no good reason to trust your mind. Perhaps instead our minds are the product of the creation from a logical and reasonable creator. See, science is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't explain everything. And with all of our knowledge of mathematics and chemistry and biology, physics, engineering, and medicine, there still remains unsolved mystery. And somewhere in that mystery, you may just find God. Now ask yourself this question: why did everything we need in order to exist come into being? Science can't fully answer that. I had a college professor that once flippantly told me that it was just an accident, but seeing as how you can't build a house by setting off dynamite in a pile of building materials, I had a little trouble believing her theory. Either way, it's a mystery, and what you do with it is up to you. Now, some of you may object to the existence of God because there's evil, but the reality of evil doesn't cancel out the extensive evidence of intelligent and benevolent design and creation. Your question is, why would God allow it to exist? But my question to you is, has he done anything about it? Now remember, if your brain's just a blob of electrical impulses, then how do we even have the ability to know the standard for what is evil or what is good? We know inherently and almost universally what is good because deep down we know the standard is God. Hey, visit politicalcowboy.com and follow Political Cowboy on Facebook. Know that I love y'all, and God bless.